Okay. I figured since my son is at work, I'll do one more. This will probably be the longest of any video I do, and this one could get confusing. So if you have questions, message me. We are going to talk about credit card usage. It is a high impact, probably the highest impact on your credit score, minus what's in collections. Okay, so when you log in, you're going to see this screen. Okay, it is going to show you excellent, good, fair, what needs work, and it's going to show you the percentages. Okay, do you see that? It shows you the percentage of what percentage you need to be. What it is doing on this person, they have a credit limit. What they do is they add the credit limit of all your revolving credit cards. So this person, when you added all their credit cards together, whether or not they were using the card at the moment, they had $11,400 available of credit, whether used or not. What they do is they calculate how much you owe, how much you have used. So this person has used $6,478. If you were to add how much they owe the credit cards, this is how much they owe at the time. This usually updates every 30 to 45 days or so. So what they do is they then calculate how much credit card usage you have. This person is using 57% of the $11,400 available to them. So if you look at this chart, it shows you they are here. The more they get here, the lower that percentage goes. And then here it shows you, 0 to 9%, 10 to 29, 30 to 49. To have a decent credit score, they recommend that you keep it around 33%. But obviously, the lower this goes, the better the score. So with this, there is different ways to manipulate your credit card usage. Okay, I wrote them down so that I don't forget. And I might have forgotten one, and I might come back to it in another video. But one way to manipulate this is to open another credit card. If they were to open another credit card and not use it, then this is going to go up, and this percentage is going to go down because you've increased this number. Keep in mind, if you open another credit card, you're going to now have an inquiry on your credit report. You're going to have a new account on your credit report. So it could be not perfect timing to do that. But if you had all intentions of not using it and you want to manipulate this number, that could be the way to go. Keep in mind, depending on where your inquiry is on the inquiry chart, it could not be a good thing to do. Now, if you want to avoid that inquiry, you could call your credit cards and ask, can I have a credit limit increase? So they might increase your limit without you ever using that card. Sometimes they'll ask you the reason why, sometimes they won't. Whatever reason you give them, you'll get a yes or no answer. You might tell them you're going to use it for something else and then not go and use that. But at that time, they will increase this score. Some of them might soft hit your credit bureau and some of them may not, which is a whole other thing. But that will increase this limit without getting an inquiry. That's one way. Another way is to have somebody add you onto the credit bureau, on a credit card. So, mom might say, okay, I'll add you onto my Capital One credit card. And as long as she is not using that card, let's say she has a $10,000 limit because she's used that card for years and has a great history with them. This would then change to $21,400, which is going to drastically drop this without an inquiry on your credit report. Keep in mind, you can't go blowing mom's credit card and maxing it out. But that is probably the best way to manipulate this. Just keep in mind, though, if mom goes and maxes out that credit card, then this is going to change for you because you now share that credit card with her. So you use it, she uses it. Keep in mind, whoever uses it is impacting the other person. But you're not getting an inquiry when you do that. Another way to do that is to manipulate this is to take out a loan. Could not be in your best interest because if you do that again, you're going to have an inquiry just like if you did the credit card. But if you take out a loan, let's say you take out a debt consolidating loan and you consolidate all of those into a loan, you're going to have a new inquiry. You're going to have a higher minimum payment each month because you're consolidating all that, and loans have a higher minimum due. But with that, this potentially could drop to zero if you're paying them all off. So it's risky because let's say you need to go get a car loan later. They're going to look at your debt to income to see if you can afford a car because of how much minimum payment you're paying on that loan. But at the same time, it could say, okay, well, she obviously could handle it. So it's going to depend on the type of credit that you're trying to get. But this is the hardest thing to really make decisions on of what am I going to do. If you could just do like the snowball theory and just pay one after another, after another, after another, and especially if you can get one paid off quick because it has a lower balance, you're going to see this drop. It's going to eventually drop because you're not using that revolving credit. But if you are buying, paying, and this is never changing numbers, it's not going to help you. So you really need to consider that as well. That is really the biggest thing. This is probably the hardest thing for people to realize how to manipulate. But there are ways to do this, and this is the number one thing that I see dropping people's credit scores because they are using the credit cards just because it's there. And when I talked in the other video about new money, when I help people out and they get their credit scores all the way up, and now all of a sudden they have all these credit card offers over and over and over, and 0% offers. And that's another way actually with this is when you perfect when you log into the app, it's gonna show you let's see what this is actually the same person, the credit card utilization. Actually, let's go to this one instead. When you log in, there is all these different options. It'll show you here. Let's start here even better. Yeah, let's do this one. When you log in, it's going to show you different credit card offers, and it's going to show you here, the annual fee. Right here, it shows you the likelihood that you're going to get approved. So this isn't always correct, but this one here with this person, it was saying excellent, big likelihood they're going to get approved. But let's say you don't want whatever offer is with this. Like this one is a venture credit card. So this is travel rewards. So it's offering them to gain points for mileage. It's a whole other video. But when you log in and you'll click on here, it'll say, I don't have it on this one, but it'll say like see more offers, see more cards. And when you do that, it's going to take you to this screen right here. And with this screen, you're going to click, let's see, the all credit cards. And there will be another one that says transfer. Actually, here it is right here. You'll click transfer. And what that is it'll show you if you have any credit cards that are willing to offer you a balance transfer. Typically, they're going to offer you to transfer it for 18 months or 24 months, and you'll pay a 3% fee for doing that transfer. But once you do that, all of the other credit cards are going to go to zero balance or whatever you choose to transfer. And once that happens, this is the one that's going to carry the balance now. But because you have an open credit card, it's going to throw that percentage. Oh, I don't even know where I put it. But that 57% that I showed, this right here, is going to change because now you have a new credit card with a new limit. Keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to have an inquiry. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons of what you're trying to do. So I guarantee you overnight, I'm going to have a lot of people asking me about this one. So you guys can shoot me the private messages, but this is the number one to pay attention to. Sorry, I'm showing the wrong one. It's the one with the 57%, the credit card usage. That is what they're going to look for. Whether you go for a car or a house, this is what's impacting your credit score the most. Keep that in mind. The more you're using, the lower your score is going to be. That is huge. But also keep in mind there's different ways to manipulate this. Whether it is that new credit card, whether it is a loan, there are different ways to manipulate this. So you don't just sit there and, a lot of people, the snowball effect, it really does work. I have a little pros and cons around it. On my opinion of it, but the main thing is to get that percentage down as quick as possible. So if you can't do the snowball, then figure something else out. Figure out a loan, figure out a balance transfer. There are other ways to do it. Don't be stuck on it. And really, I think that, in my opinion, I feel like having open available credit, if you're one that can stop yourself from spending, it is the best emergency backup fund, especially if you are somebody that doesn't have a savings account, you haven't started that option yet. is I do believe in having a credit card for an emergency, not for everyday purchases, but for an emergency. So I think I hit everything with the credit card usage, but that is probably the one that's going to get me the most emails. That is the biggest impact. So, all right, bye guys.